This podcast is brought to you by the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. As we have gone through this pandemic, we have seen that the mask has become a more important part of our everyday lifestyle. Most of us have, in some cases, accumulated several masks to wear when we're out in public due to the coronavirus. And we're seeing so many retail companies make masks part of their offerings. The work to produce the best masks that provide the best protection has been quite innovative. The assumption by many is that, well, once we have the vaccines up and running and we get the herd immunity, that we shouldn't really have the need for masks again. But some believe that there might be need for masks longer term, even with vaccines at work. Liat Goldhammer is Chief Technology Officer with Israeli tech company Sonovia, which is right in the midst of this growing industry, and he joins us to discuss what he is seeing. Liat, thank you for your time. Hope you're doing well. Happy holidays to you.
Hello. Thank you for inviting me.
What was the process like at the outset of the pandemic for your company in terms of developing masks, especially ones that would filter out the harmful bacteria?
So I would like to start and say that originally we never intended to become a mask producer. Sonovia is a startup company based in Israel developing a disruptive sound wave technology that allows us to embed permanently desirable properties onto textiles and other materials as well. When the pandemic started in January, we were approached by Chinese who heard about our technology and our ability to turn our textiles into permanently anti-pathogen, protecting from viruses and bacteria. They approached us and asked for our help, literally to provide them with those fabrics so they can use them to produce masks and other textile apparel to protect their personnel, medical personnel, volunteering staff, etc.
Yeah.
At the time, that's what we were doing. We stepped up to the challenge. We realized that we have something that might save lives. We weren't still sure to what extent, but we brought the fabrics in and started to produce masks. At first, we donated them. We contacted people in China and people later on all over the world, including in Israel, and we started donating the masks. And we've seen the great demand, because all of a sudden the general public were asked to use masks in their daily activities.
Yeah.
There were now clear instructions what the mask should be like, and we realized that we need to develop and to continue to make the product evolve and adjusting to the general public needs, and that's what we were doing.
Does your company believe that in making this pivot, and a lot of companies have had to pivot during this pandemic in a variety of different ways, and this is obviously a pivot for you guys making these masks, but does your company believe that this is going to be, not just a short-term venture for you, that there is a longer need out there for masks?
Well, like you said in the beginning of your opening remark, vaccines will take time. They will take time to reach everyone. Not everyone will probably be willing to be vaccinated or will be able to vaccinate. And viruses tend to mutate. And we already know that there has been pandemics in the past, and I think now the public really is more aware of what happens when the pandemic reaches your backyard and threatens you and your loved ones. So I think the world has changed. Even if there is a vaccine, there will always be the concern for the next coming pandemic. Right. And in Sonovia, as we never intended to become a mask producer, we will always have the masks to offer, and we keep, improving them and making them available. But at the same time, we realize that what we have in our hands is a technology that can actually revolutionize the entire textile industry. Right. And if you look at the textile as being, the number one substrate around you, even if you look around you right now, most likely the number one substrate you are surrounded with is textile. And we are able to turn every textile into a protective shield, into an active protective substrate. And that is our intent. We are not going to stick around only with masks and focus on the mask, but we are going to broaden the range of products that we can offer. That would be the first step.
Yeah.
And then the second step would be really to be able to offer this technology to every textile manufacturer around the world, so they can also offer this to their customers.
Yeah, I saw as part of this that in terms of those other items that you're looking at, it's a wide range of products that you may be producing to kind of deal with this, things even like hotel bedding.
Absolutely. I think even now when people will start to go into hotels again, they will be thinking, who was there before and how sanitized is my room, including everything in it, from the carpets to the curtains who are not washed very frequently, to the bed covers, etc. I think people are now going to have that awareness. We already know that hotel chains, major ones, made some polls, and they came up with results that basically the customers will be looking for a sanitized option in the room, and they will be willing to pay more for that. So
Right.
that's also showing you the way people are starting to change their thinking. And not only hotels. We are looking at the entire institutional market. We are talking about restaurants, about workwear or service providers in those restaurants. We are talking about public transportation, all the upholstery in the train, in the airplanes, in movie theaters. So basically, any textile in your public arena is going to be treated as we believe it, as we see it in our vision.
What about I find it interesting because what you're talking about is obviously, in part, the need for individuals to be able to have these masks and to be able to have these products, but you're also talking about corporate clients that would definitely have the need for this. So it's not just one side or the other. This is a process that will involve all kinds of different people.
Absolutely. We're already seeing it when people were forced to or were asked to go back to work. We're not able always to work from home. Kids are going back to school. They need to have some protection means, and we already know that according to the World Health Organization, the mask is almost the number one mean of protection, right, with washing your hands and keeping your distance. So absolutely, you are right. Organizations are seeking to protect their workers and people that work in the organization, and also customers to the organizations who are coming to receive service. So that is definitely going to be a major change.
Should consumers have an expectation of maybe masks having a lifespan to them? I mean, if you wear them a while, especially if they're cloth masks, if you wear them a while and then you're washing them to try and keep them clean, that maybe there is a shelf life to masks in general?
Definitely, when you produce the mask, as the producers, we have the responsibility to communicate these factors to the consumers, to provide them with the proper care label, to advise them how long the mask lasts. And in our case, currently, we have tested more than 55 wash cycles, and the masks are still filtering pathogens and still provide protection adequately. So I think what you're asking is very important, and people should note when they're trying to buy a mask and to understand its shelf life. On the other hand, we know that disposable masks are very popular, and people don't really realize that they have to change them and throw them away almost every 3 and 4 hours.
Right.
And that is a major burden also to the environment, and also risking their health if they are not doing that.
So you also have a lot of people in different parts of the world that they have an athletic lifestyle. They like to run. They like to be involved in a variety of different different ventures from an athletic perspective. How does the building of the mask, or does it differ at all when you're thinking about those people in comparison to just the general public that may be going to their office and coming back to their home right after that and maybe not have as much an athletic lifestyle?
Well, I can tell you that because we specifically developed the mask for the general public and not for the use in medical settings, we took it into consideration. A lot of people, for example, are commuting to work on bicycles or on motorcycles, for example. So by law, if you're doing sports, you don't have to wear a mask. It's quite difficult to wear a mask when you're doing a physical activity. But at the same time, I think our masks are very breathable. And when people will try to walk around with them or to ride to work on their bicycle with them, they'll find that it's possible to do it.
Yeah.
It's possible to do it.
We are joined by Liat Goldhammer, who is Chief Technology Officer with Israeli tech company Sonovia. So is it your expectation, and obviously here in the United States, we have seen so many companies jump on board and producing masks. And obviously here in the States, there have been, so many people so many companies, I should say, that have produced masks with, various logos and insignias on them. So do you expect that this is going to be an industry as a whole, your company and others as well, that this is going to be around for a while?
Yes, absolutely. We see it going to stay around at least for the next 2 years. This is my assumption, taking into account even the vaccines, etc. Yes, it should be a very fashionable item as well. It's presenting. You should use your personal style and to express yourself when you wear it, because it becomes part and extension of your face. So I think people are also looking for those brandings, and they're looking for fashionable colors as well. It becomes part of the lifestyle, part of the fashion.
Liat, thank you very much for your time today. All the best to you and your company, Sonovia, for the work you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having us. Thank you.
Liat Goldhammer, Chief Technology Officer with Sonovia. To keep engaged with Wharton Business Daily and other Wharton School shows, visit businessradio.wharton.upenn.edu.